Let me tell you about the greatest stand-in in esports history.
He's trapped in at the car, he's going to need help, he's going to need bailing out. Oh, burning alive, and JKS is swinging as well. That's the pistol for FaZe Clan.
Flash is coming in, and he can't afford to follow up. Oh dear, they're out wide. JKS, down and savagery on the site as he follows up with a 4.
Falls off, and he falls the wrong way, so as not to be spotted. Alexi B just waits it out, but JKS has it.
That is unbelievable to stand it. What can this man not do for FaZe?
Let me tell you about the guy who wasn't even supposed to be at one of the biggest tournaments of the year and won anyway.
JKS. Could the stand-in win map 2 for them?
Let me tell you about the guy who struggled for years, almost missed his shot, and finally won it all when no one believed in him.
So many gambles on this team, but it's finally paid off. The Intel Extreme Masters, Katowice champions, FaZe Clan in 2022.
Hey folks, before we get into the video, you might have noticed that this is the very first episode of our brand new show, Worth. If you like what you're seeing, then please sub to the channel and turn on notifications because it really does help, and we hope you enjoy the show. Anyway, nobody expected JKS to pop off at ESL One Katowice 2022. Mostly because he wasn't even supposed to be at the tournament in the first place. JKS is esports' greatest stand-in, and in order to understand how he got there, we need to understand where he came from first. See, JKS has pretty much been playing Counter-Strike since he was old enough to hold a mouse. He's been competing for almost his entire life.
Back then, obviously, there was a lot less exposure and less tournaments and stuff like that in 1.6. So for me, and especially because I was a kid, it was more just like kind of being better than everyone else around me kind of thing. Like that's how I found the fun in it, like the competitiveness. It wasn't really anything like, you know, oh, I want to grow up and play overseas or anything like that. I kind of just wanted to be better than everyone else that I knew.
As he grew up, JKS quickly became one of Australia's #1 CSGO talents. The problem was that Australia only really had one internationally competitive roster, and they weren't exactly on top of the world.
And if they try and come for him, well, they're in headshot range, and there's the first one going down. Kenny there to support Havoc is now gone, and JKS is going to be alone here, looking for a pickoff, and he's only going to get the one.
On Vox, and later Renegades, JKS grew into a serious international threat. He was easily the best player in Australia, with incredible skills and an ability to clutch that rivaled some of the best players in the world.
And Alina peeking from a jungler here, he can't get the shot, and JKS gets it. That might have been it here. Disturb in a 1-on-2 to clutch for his team to keep their hopes alive. He's got 2 HP on JKS, Havoc on 19. He actually hits it through the box, but JKS connects. And that is Vox advancing through into the winner's bracket, winning 16-11 over 3D Max.
Nico ready and waiting. He leg shots him, but he doesn't go down. Sponge with the double, and he's going to come in for a little bit more here. Pimp goes down, and there it is. Vox Seminole. They make the next major and global offensive 16-13, and look at that celebration.
Can JKS pick anything up here? Good damage there to Fugly, finishes him off. Well, this position's actually really good for JKS. Could spray down a couple more players. There's the second one, and the third one. Excellent stuff from JKS, and the remaining 2 are really weak here. This guy could be working on a massive clutch. Gets the next kill. It's just a Dren left now for Liquid, working on the ace. JKS has to find him. Oh, he gets the shot! Unbelievable stuff. This guy's so hot.
Unfortunately, despite JKS's incredible talent, the Aussies just couldn't win anything.
And mousesports coming now into the overtime, absolutely destroying Renegades. It's just 3 left for the CT side, and maybe the dream is over, though Azza drops the bomb carrier. Just one player alive. JKS here in the connector, and he goes down. Mousesports 19-15.
Somebody is the high ground going to do this for his team. JKS finally gets a tap, but he can't get the round, and it will be Tyloo 16-10 over Renegades. Sunny surely will have the jump on this. Ustalo is convinced somebody's in CT. He's going to moonwalk straight into the end of the match. 16-4. That was all mousesports.
It got so bad that by the end of 2018, JKS was almost ready to call it quits.
I think we had some up and down results, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted to keep playing or not. I was actually like really questioning it towards the end because we did get to go home for one of these events, and then I remember how nice it is being at home and having friends at home and stuff like that, and just pretty much just everything at home kind of made me miss it, and I was really questioning whether or not I wanted to play. And then I think I had a really good event at Pro League at the end of 2018, and from there on kind of just had that mindset where like I need to just start playing really well. I need to like play professionally. I need to do everything right. You know, I should put everything into it just so I'm not wasting my time overseas when I can't be at home.
JKS rolled up his sleeves and got to work.
Here it is by Triple with the AWP. He's going to peek out, misses the first shot. That's not going to be good enough. There's no second shot really to be fired or connected. It's Gratisfaction again. We love it when he is going for these crazy plays off the AWP. And again, he's setting up his team. Leah's coming in from the side there from CT, and that's it. Renegades win by time. Gratisfaction again, James.
JK and Gratisfaction. One frag, one click of the mouse, and this could be it. Legend status for Renegades. They're doing it.
2019 went pretty well for JKS. He made the HLTV top 20 for the first time in his career, Renegades got signed to 100 Thieves, and it looked like he was finally going to hit the big time. But then, in spring 2020, COVID hit. CSGO's so-called online era was hard on everyone. But for a lineup of Australians playing for a North American org going up against teams based in Europe, it was brutal.
At the time, we were obviously had to live overseas, stay overseas and play online CS, and like none of us really like online CS. You know, everyone likes LAN CS, everyone likes the crowd and stuff like that. Especially in North America, it's awful because you play the same teams over and over and over again, like every week. So it wasn't very fun in that aspect, but definitely sucks that we had to cut it short because of that. 100 Thieves obviously had to drop us because of COVID.
Unfortunately, 100 Thieves is exiting CSGO. I think the most glaring issue that our organization has faced has been COVID.
So JKS jumped ship. He couldn't just sit around doing nothing, which is why he joined Complexity. But things only got worse from there.
Shiro, he's ready for it, and he does start off with the first. No refrag in there. Hobbit to back him up. This is beautiful from Gambit. Textbook and Config. He's having to push through the flames. Look how much damage he's chased. He may get this kill onto Shiro, but he's... What? Config, you are not supposed to miss those.
Oh, and he gets knifed. That round is the most heartbreaking round I have seen in the last 8 hours of my life.
Complexity's results were so abysmal that just over a year after JKS joined the roster, they disbanded, which left his future prospects looking dim.
I was kind of relieved in a way. You know, I didn't really want to play in that team anymore. I don't think the lineup was really working and the atmosphere was really bad. I mean, just being straight up honest, I think it was kind of a relief at that point. Of course, it was a little bit scary because I didn't have the best performance on that team. And of course, other teams are going to be looking at your previous performance over the last couple of months or something like that. So it didn't really look that positive for me.
At this point, it wasn't clear what came next for JKS. While nobody seriously doubted his talent, his time on Complexity didn't do him any favors. JKS wasn't exactly a top prospect. He sat on the bench for months. From November until well into the new year, JKS didn't play a single game of professional Counter-Strike. His career wasn't just on pause. It looked like it was kind of over. And then, out of nowhere, fate intervened.
Around like February 10th, I think Twists messaged me on Steam. I hadn't touched CS in about 2 months, so I was kind of reluctant to play, and obviously I told them that because, you know, I didn't want to lie to show up and play awful. But I think he really pushed for me to play for the team.
I really had to convince them that JKS was still the best option, and I didn't care that he didn't play the game for 2 months, and I actually felt like his time on Complexity was inaccurate representation of what he can do as a player, and I think the system that Complexity had, which is bad for him. So I really wanted him to have a chance in our team.
As soon as they said that they did actually want to select me, that night, I think I booked a hotel in the city of Copenhagen, and then I asked Astralis if I could play at their place, and I stayed there for maybe 3 or 4 days, playing like 12 hours of CS a day, just so I can get back into form a little bit.
This was an extremely high-stakes offer for JKS. It was a chance to prove himself, sure, but it was also a chance to fall even flatter.
I mean, it definitely was a really rough period, and I was obviously having second thoughts about if I should play or not because I didn't want to make things look worse. But at that point, it's kind of just like, what do I have to lose? I may as well play, and if I play like shit, it is what it is.
All JKS wanted was to prove that he deserved a spot on a top-tier roster, to prove that he was more than just his year of struggles. But the pressure was on. He even told HLTV that he wasn't so much playing to win as he was playing not to lose.
I kind of just want to make sure that we make it as far as we possibly can before Robs comes back, because I don't really want to be the reason to blame, you know, like the reason why these guys drop out of the tournament or something if we lose or something like that.
But the thing is, FaZe did win. And not despite JKS, but because of him.
We'll see if Rosen gets drawn over the lip of this ledge. JKS turns attention, gets the first one. Now it's all about finishing off Dexter, 31 HP. This would be a big round for FaZe to just push over the line, but it needs to be JKS. And there's his round, there's his moment, especially with the smoke having just gone out as well. They use their second, JKS lights him up and sticks their heads on spears.
But what it does is delay a little bit. JKS puts a D together.
Dude, FaZe and Deagles, that's what they're doing. Another from JKS, 3 kills in this one.
FaZe blew through the play-in stage with 2 quick wins over Sprout and Mouse. And that's where JKS's story should have ended. Rops was back for the group stage, which meant that JKS was back to the bench after a solid but quiet performance. But then, fate intervened once again. After the group stage, FaZe's longtime rifler, Rain, tested positive for COVID. So they had to call JKS back in for the big time, playoffs. This was going to be JKS's biggest test. All eyes were on him because he could have been the reason for an early exit for FaZe. Instead, he delivered.
He's trapped in at the car, he's gonna need help, he's gonna need bailing out. Burning alive, and JKS is swinging as well. That's the pistol for FaZe Clan.
Flash is coming in, and he can't afford to follow up. Oh dear, they're out wide. Go down and savagery on the site as he follows up with a 4.
He's entried like Ray, he's lurked like Robs, now expected to clutch like Brokey. And it's not gonna happen, time eludes him on this one. Just exits is the name of the game, and he's gonna get them all at least.
With the help of JKS's truly unbelievable stand-in play, FaZe shredded Gambit and Heroic, 2 of the best teams in the world, with back-to-back 2-0s. JKS was in the grand finals of a tournament he wasn't even supposed to be at, with one of the best teams in the world on his side. At this point, JKS had accomplished more than anyone could have asked of him. He didn't just not lose, he helped take FaZe all the way to the grand finals. They could have lost to G2 and placed second and people still would have sung JKS's praises. But that's not what happened. For maybe the first time in his career, JKS was facing little to no pressure to perform. See, for years of playing on Australian lineups, JKS was always the star. He was always the guy who had to pop off every game, the guy who always had to carry. But that's not what playing on FaZe was like. Some of the best players in the world were on his side of the server. Brokey was opping, Rops and Twist were vying for the role of star rifler, and Kerrigan was calling the shots. JKS made an incredible Cinderella run to get here, but the pressure wasn't exclusively on him to take it all the way. So JKS had almost nothing to lose. And he played like it.
Fast pace towards Banana, the play has been called. Hunter's gonna turn that corner, JKS has got him. Huddled behind, another flashbang from Kerrigan.
FaZe stole map 1, but map 2, Mirage, was an endless bloodbath. The 2 teams struggled to close it out for almost 60 rounds until JKS came up huge.
He's got back in the corner, he's spotted out, and this is absolutely doable now. He's got all the utility, all the play that he needs, flash and a nade, as well as the defuse kit. Jumping across, he'll start making noise. His position's given up, but Alexi B has been very disciplined in this situation. Quick tap, falls off, and he falls the wrong way, so as not to be spotted. Alexi B just waits it out, but JKS has it. Does he have the time, though? It's gonna be so close, absolutely. FaZe have won map 2, and they'll go up 2-0 in this series.
Your channel was edited.
From there, things looked over for G2. Down 2 maps in a best of 5, they tried to fight back, but it didn't matter. There was blood in the water, and FaZe could taste it.
1 second on the clock, and G2 is being harassed every step of the way. Nico doesn't have the help, and JKS has a triple. That shuts it all down, 13-10. AK picked back up by Alexi B, but he was tagged in the process. Hunter instead, though, gets JKS. Brokey's still here. They lined up. He's actually hit 1+2. He did damage. That's gonna drop them down. It's all on Hunter, and it's all over. Twist with the final kill, and FaZe finally on the stage in Katowice will take a championship. So many gambles on this team, but it's finally paid off. The Intel Extreme Masters, Katowice champions, FaZe Clan in 2022.
That trophy marked JKS's first ever Premier Tournament win. The first Premier Tournament victory for any Australian CSGO player ever, and the final statement on the single greatest stand-in performance esports has ever seen.
Honestly, I don't think it's really sunk in too much yet. Massive thing, especially for me, because the first time I went to that event would have been 2015, I think. A lot of the times I was actually watching in the crowd and stuff. For me, at least, I think that's my third time on stage, and then that time I actually win it. I don't know, it's honestly pretty surreal. I don't really know how to describe it.
It's hard to say where JKS will end up after all this. What we can say for certain is that he's shot himself back onto the radar of every roster looking to round out their ranks.
JKS is probably the best stand-in I've had. He played Rosen's role, which is his comfort zone, and then I jumped into my role, which is definitely not his comfort zone, but he played really hard for the tournament, and I think the results showed.
But JKS is determined to only commit to the right team.
I want to make sure like I get a team where I know I'm going to be comfortable in, like where I'm actually going to be able to be myself and everyone gets along with each other and stuff like that. Like I want to actually just make sure it's the right opportunity and stuff like that. I don't want to just like jump into it because I mean, I don't think there's going to be that many more opportunities after the next one.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter what kind of offers JKS gets. The man won one of the most prestigious tournaments in CSGO, had his name etched into a trophy that most pros only dream of, and he did it all when no one expected it from him. JKS did the impossible. And no matter where he goes from here, he'll always have something to show for it. At this point, it wasn't clear what would come next for JKS. What does "at this clear" mean? When I said that, what was I thinking? What was my brain doing? I know words. At this clearing. I know words. I have a master's degree in words. What the f am I saying?